So as we all know, sir, the tariff is not set by us, sir, MECL. I think Honourable Member has to do a little bit of homework, sir.
Honourable Speaker, sir, I'd like to raise a point of order, sir, on the Rule 300. During the duration of the reply of the Honourable Minister Power, I was asked to do my homework before coming to the House. Sir, under Rules 279, the Rules of Procedure and Conduct of Business, I find it is a personal charge against me. It is an offensive expression and derogatory. I think the Honourable Minister was intending to insult me in front of the people of the state, sir, that I have come to the House without doing my homework. Sir, it is not expected, sir, from a senior member, especially when you hold an office of a Minister of the State, sir. I have, what proof does the Minister have that I have come to this House unprepared and not doing my homework, sir? If you find any problems in my question, point them out. I cannot be insulted like this. People of Umroi constituency cannot be insulted like this, sir. I really am so offended, sir, by the expression of the Minister asking me to do my homework. He is highly educated. I respect him. I respect his family. I respect his position. But it doesn't mean, sir, that he has the right to insult a member and ask me to do my homework, sir.
Can I reply, sir?
I expect an apology, sir, and those words should be expunged from the proceedings of the House, sir.
Wemily ka Congress na Umroi uba George B. Lingdo uladawan u Menteri Ketenat Boarding ne Power u James P.K. Sangma ban panma phalo ko nongrim ba u Menteri u Loong ya u bon le homework shwa ban wanra ya ki jinkli ha ko dorbar uba George ula kenturu ya lampang ban weng ya ka kentien ka blakren u Menteri na ka jingtho ka blabo ha ka dorbar uba George ula simbenta ha ka jinkli benrap halo ka jing pentri kam Ketenat Boarding Andai hakapor ba ay kajubab na kanyang James Loong ba Wemily uday ban le homework shwa ban kali. Hadin balakot ki kintay kali bad jubab uba George ulayeng da ka jingdom da ka Loong ba ka kentien ba keren da Menteri kala Punjab Burom yu Wemily kamtam yikipait ba nongjet ko Umroi constituency. Hadin kani la penjajai no ya ka dorba da ka jing tuklar lang jong u speaker uba medba dingdo ubla kular ban bisar ya ki jingdawa jong Wemily ko Umroi pat kumjo la yeng ban tuklar lang do nongilam ka liang persa u Dr. Mukul Sangma u Menteri Rangba bat u sembut Menteri Rangba u Konrad ki Sangma bat kumjo uba Prestun Tensong.
This experience that many of the consumers, especially in the rural areas, most of the meters are not in a working condition, which leads to the reply that there's an average billing that is being done for all the consumers whose meters are not working. Neither the consumers are aware that the meters are not working, nor there is an intent and an exercise from the MECL side to correct the meters that are not working. This leads to huge bills that are being dumped on the consumers. Now, the Honourable Minister, in the duration of his reply, he said that if we waive off the bills, then it will have a huge impact on the MECL because it cannot garner resources. So does this mean, sir, that consumers can be fleeced and made unaware and at the same time collect all these resources from the unaware consumers and clear the liabilities of the MECL?
Sir, it's not like that, sir, the way that the Honourable Member put it. Consumers are not being fleeced, sir. However, I do agree to the point which he made regarding the fact that in the rural areas, some of the meters which are read, sometimes it is a practice that average billing is taken up. But the reply which I gave was specifically for the lockdown period, sir. But nonetheless, sir, we understand that there is a challenging phase that we are going through right now, and this is something that is not something that happened right now, sir. This has been going on for a very, very long period of time. We have inherited this kind of problem from the past, sir. However, sir, the government today is seized of the matter. We are seriously looking at how we can improve billing efficiency in the state, sir. And one way of doing that is the introduction of smart meters, sir. And I'm happy to inform the House, sir, that ADB has funded a project through which we'll be able to introduce smart meters, sir. And after the introduction of smart meters, we are very confident that we will be able, if we are able to achieve 100%, which we are confident, sir, that we will be able to achieve 100% billing efficiency.
Sir, I appreciate the reply of the Minister, even though there is no intent, but then it is happening in the field, sir. And it is not only some. Many consumers are being affected because of non-functional meters. And they are I'm a victim of it, sir. That's why I'm talking about this also. I reported to the SDO, and then it took him nearly 5 months to even correct. My bill came to 12,000 per month, my own residence. And we are talking about the lockdown only, sir. We are not talking outside the period of lockdown, because all these anomalies have been dumped on the consumers because of the lockdown. Now, sir, what about the franchisee? In the Umiam revenue division of the MECL, the franchisee did not bill the consumers for the past 1 month or 1 year, and because of that delay, the entire bill came upon the consumers all at once during the lockdown, sir. So what about that? Is any action being taken against the franchisee, sir?
Sir, as I have mentioned in the course of my reply, sir, where there is discrepancy in terms of high billing, sir, most of the issues have been resolved case-to-case basis, and when consumers will approach the concerned assistant executive engineer, sir, at the end of the lockdown period, they can bring these matters to the concerned engineers, and we will resolve these matters, sir. And sir, as I want to just mention again, that this is not a problem, sir, of now, sir. Meters and the average billing that has been taking place, sir, this is a practice which has been going on for a long time, sir. This is what we inherited. But we are very serious about this, and that's why we're introducing smart meters, and we believe that with this introduction of smart meters, this initiative that the government is taking, sir, that we'll be able to resolve the issues of these kind of average billings that have been taking place for so many years, sir.
So I think the Honorable Minister did not listen to my question. Past 1 year, 2019 onward, was dumped on the consumers all at once. What action is being taken against a franchisee? Are there whatever amount that they have to earn from the MECL, is that being looked into? Will that be deducted? Now, we are blaming the poor consumers all the time, sir. What about this franchisee? So the government. And I have been doing it regularly also in duration of my talking with the officers and the consumers. So my next question is, are the consumers allowed to bargain on the energy charges per unit levied by the MECL?
I don't know where that question has come for, sir. That is a very, that question, sir, I think that there is no question of bargaining, sir. I don't know where that question is coming from.
So because just recently in the media, the Barnihat Industries Association had bargained from 6 rupees per unit to 4.5 rupees. So I thought if that is applicable to the consumers also, sir, then we will also tell the people, sir.
So as we all know, sir, the tariff is not set by us, sir, MECL. I think Honorable Member has to do a little bit of homework, sir. The tariff is determined by the Regulatory Commission, that is the MSERC, sir. So I think he should first check on his facts before making such claims, sir.
Sir, if the MSERC allows such bargaining, then we'll go to MSERC, sir. That's what I want a clarity from the Minister. If this bargaining goes on, sir, then we will also tell the consumers, I also being a consumer, sir, I'll go and bargain with the MSERC, sir. That's all, sir.
Anyway, sir, this question is going in a completely different tangent, sir, because we were talking about the billing that was taking place during the lockdown. However, sir, just to satisfy the Honorable Member, sir, tariff is revised every year, sir, and there are petitions by consumers, and consumers will, they can petition the MSERC for revision in tariff, sir.
Honorable Speaker, sir, I'd like to raise a point of order, sir, on the Rule 300. during the duration of the reply of the Honorable Minister Power, I was asked to do my homework before coming to the House. So, under Rules 279, the Rules of Procedure and Conduct of Business, I find it is a personal charge against me. It is an offensive expression and derogatory. I think the Honorable Minister was intending to insult me in front of the people of the state, sir, that I have come to the House without doing my homework. Sir, it is not expected, sir, from a senior member, especially when you hold an office of a Minister of the State, sir. I have, what proof does the Minister have that I have come to this House unprepared and not doing my homework, sir? If you find any problems in my question, point them out. I cannot be insulted like this. People of Umroi constituency cannot be insulted like this, sir. I really am so offended, sir, by the expression of the Minister asking me to do my homework. He is highly educated. I respect him. I respect his family. I respect his position. But it doesn't mean, sir, that he has the right to insult a member and ask me to do my homework, sir.
Can I reply, sir?
I expect an apology, sir, and those words should be expunged from the proceedings of the House, sir.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I think the honourable member from Umroi, he referred to Rule 279. But I think we have to also be guided by the rules. Well, if you have any problem, I think write to the Honourable Speaker and let the Honourable Speaker study it, and if need be, we discuss. But I think right now you refer to Rule 300. I think that at that point of time itself, if the concerned minister says something which is derogatory or which is something affected you personally, I think that time itself you should have mentioned. But now you refer to Rule 300 for what?
Sir,
I think
under Rule 302, sir, a point of order may be raised in relation to the business.
Yes.
Provided that the Speaker will permit to raise a point of order during the interval between the termination of one item of business and the commencement of other, sir. I do not want to waste the question hour, sir.
Sir,
I do not want to, Honourable Deputy CM may kindly get this corrected, sir. I did not want to waste the question hour on an exercise that has to be decided by you, sir.
Sir, I think...
So if the Honourable Deputy CM says that I cannot raise a point of order and feel that the personal charge made against me and it is defamatory and insulting.
Sir, I don't say don't raise.
Sir.
But what I'm saying
he
is
only said, sir, he only said that I cannot raise.
Sir,
30.2, 302 says we should raise between intervals, sir.
Both the members to please take your seat. Both the members, please take your seat. Honourable Deputy Chief Minister, please, would like to say something.
Mr. Speaker, sir, as I've said, see, I think from 2003 I've been in the House. When we mention about homework, if you talk about derogatory, I think that is totally wrong. But what I'm saying right now is, you have every right, members are being guided by this book. You have every right to lodge a complaint officially through the books to the Honourable Speaker, number one. Then number two, in case if you have any kind of hurt or it touches your sentiment, at that point of time, I said, at that point of time itself you need to raise it. Because right now you raise this issue only after the question is over and everything is over, and then you said, I was hurting with the reply of the Honourable Power Minister by saying he asked me to do the homework properly. But I personally feel when we do that, I don't think it hurts me. Even you can't say the same way. If the Honourable Minister, Deputy Chief Minister or Chief Minister or any minister who they cannot prepare well, you can't say, why don't you do homework well? I think if you say it hurts, I think that is not at all justified.
Sir, okay. It depends on the perception of the member. If the allegation is made, if the member accepts it, then what can I do, sir? I cannot accept it, sir. Because at that point in time, I raised a very pertinent question, a pertinent point. And as I have said, it was question hour. I do not want to have this kind of a debate during the question hour, sir. And the rules provide us the space to raise during the intervals of the business. And if they don't want to apologize, fine, sir, no problem. But then it just shows the kind of attitude that the ruling is showing towards the opposition. And if a member raises a point, we have been asked to go back home and do our homework first. Means that if the question, if it is relates to the question, if I am raising an illogical and question that is not pertaining to the principal question, fine, sir. But my appeal is stop insulting members based on the fact that we are here to raise issues. We get questions, sir, in the constituency. What is the MLA doing? Not raising issues about the bills. We are paying the bills through our nose. When we raise that, is it that we have not done homework? Is it that we have not met people? Is it not that we have not met officers? Officers are burdened with their problems. We are telling all this, sir. So that's why, sir, I don't know, I don't expect now, sir, with the kind of response that we got from the Honorable Deputy CM, asking me to raise at that point of time, because it was question hour, sir, not a matter of debate. If it was debate and discussion, I would have done that, sir. So that's also my appeal to you and to the chair, that these things need to be corrected, sir, because I've been witnessing for the past 2 years, this keeps repeating in this house, sir, and we have shared the legacy of this house, sir, and I have seen the proceeding of this house, time and again, never such kind of derogatory remarks are made against any member who represents respective people and respective constituency, sir.
Okay. Sir, just 1 minute, sir. Sir, I think it is already indicated very, very clearly in the rules. Any derogatory or any unparliamentary words, yes. Even me, myself, I have to tender apology. But as I said to you, I have also heard very, very correctly when the Honorable Minister Power replied, he mentioned something that homework. Okay, if he says do homework well, is it unparliamentary? Or if you say even to the minister, please do homework well, is it unparliamentary? Is it derogatory? So this kind of things, I think we need. See, I think let us play drama. Let us be guided by the book. That is the point which I wanted to appeal and to request to every members in this August House.
Sir,
I would like to again draw the attention of the House under Rule 300 and refer to Rule 279. And before I make my submission on the rule, I would like to submit before you, Mr. Speaker, sir. Now, any matter that is placed in this August House, in any form under the rules, under the provisions of the rules and procedure and conduct of business in this August House, it becomes property of the House. Any reply sought for by any honorable member is on behalf of the public. That is how the spirit of democracy in respect of its proceeding in any house, whether in state legislature or parliament, is explained and practiced. Now, under the rule, no member can, Rule 279, Sub-Rule 2(3). Rule 279, Sub-Rule 1, no, Rule 279, 1, Sub-Rule 2(3). Very clear. Anything that is considered offensive, and if the honorable member who is bringing question before the August House, the onus of responsibility of replying and to do the necessary homework pertaining to that subject is vested with the government and the minister in charge, not the questioner. Now, if I'm asking question in course of any supplementaries, I have the right to ask on matters which I don't know. Which I don't know. It's even a logic. It's a just simple common sense. That any information being sought is not under our command. It's with you. So this is the first time in the history of this August House. I've had the privilege of watching the proceeding even before I got elected as an MLA in 1993. This is the first time in the history of the proceeding of this August House when a minister has been heard asking member, a questioner, to come with appropriate homework. I think this is truly not expected in this August House. It has never happened. This is unhealthy precedents. These precedents must be avoided. So, Mr. Speaker, sir, my submission before this August House through you is that from now on, I think that unhealthy practice, which is not inconsistent with the dignity and honor, decorum of this August House, must be avoided. And this particular practice is often demonstrated by none other than the minister concerned here. More often, it has been witnessed, seen in the preceding years. So, Mr. Speaker, sir, I think let's good sense prevail amongst all of us and have complete regard to the rules and procedure laid in this book, which is more like a Bible for us. We can't have whimsical interpretation of the rules. Even the interpretation of the rule by the Honorable Deputy CM in charge Parliamentary Affairs, I would not expect this type of interpretation. It's completely inconsistent with the spirit of the rule and the interpretation thereof. Therefore, you're the custodian of this August House, Mr. Speaker, sir. And as we all refer to the chair of the Speaker, you're infallible. So we leave it to your wisdom and have your own ruling in this matter. But my submission is that the point which is being referred to by the aggrieved member of the August House specifically refers to Rule 279(1), Sub-Rule 2 and 3. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Mr. Speaker, sir, this discussion has been taken a little long time. But the honourable member from Umroi has, within the rules, conveyed his displeasure. And he has asked for the expungement of this term used by the Honourable Minister. Since he has already placed it to the House, we will have to require your ruling now or whenever you feel fit. So any further discussions on this should be limited. That is my opinion, sir. Thank you.
Let me hear from the minister, please.
Sir, can I just add perspective from my side on this? Because sir, this is actually just a very, very minor issue, and it has been unnecessarily brought up to this kind of a level. And I think the reaction from the honourable member also has been, I think, over dramatic, I should say. Sir, in regards to the point that was mentioned by the honourable leader of opposition, absolutely. It is the right of the opposition to ask the questions. But the point is, we have 1 hour of question hour. If you are expected to ask the honourable minister, what is the full form of MECL, please? You know, when was MECL formed? You know, how many employees are, okay, employees, which is great. But obviously, which department does MECL come under? So there are certain questions you need to ask by doing your own homework. It's natural. When you're coming to the house, you're not coming as a person who doesn't understand anything and just simply asks any question you wish. You can't do that. You have to be a responsible member and ask responsible questions. So obviously, sir, we as a responsible member, sir, I think most of the people in the house know that the regulatory commission is the commission that does the pricing and all these aspects. So therefore, it is a genuine thing by the honourable minister to say that you should have done your homework and not ask a question like this. I think it's very fair. There's nothing wrong in it, sir. And I think if the point goes that the ruling that do your homework is a derogatory remark,
sir, I think we're going to find many derogatory remarks in this house. And every time there's going to be somebody getting up and said, you know, oh, why did you go out? Even that word itself will be then again subjected to derogatory remark. So we have to be very clear. This is not a derogatory remark. We know what unparliamentary and derogatory remarks mean. I think this is an overreaction. And if this is being considered as a derogatory remark, sir, we can come out with a list of million words that the opposition has used against our ministers when we are there asking questions. They can all be derogatory remarks, sir. So this will set a precedent in whatever way you think, sir. But I think it's inappropriate to bring this issue up. It's not a matter at all.
Yeah.
And it's a very genuine issue that the honorable minister mentioned, sir.
Can I hear from the minister, please?
Sir, I meant it in the right spirit, sir, and it was in no way meant in a derogatory manner. If I ask the honorable member to do his due diligence, I think that it is on the part of me to, as a part of an advice to him, sir. Now, if he takes that, sir, as, derogatory, probably it hurt his ego, sir. But it was not meant in that way, sir. There was no disrespect meant, sir.
Honorable Speaker, sir.
I think this particular discussion, it's also good. It's also important. Now, in respect of any question which is easily available in any government notification, members may ask and the minister may say that, I'll provide. That's the usual reply, I'll provide. These are usually available in the notification, etc., etc. And that's the proceeding. And this is also part of the point which is referred to in the rules. So we always indicate that we will be pleased to provide information, because we are not providing this information to the honorable member who is questioning. We are providing this information to the people of the state. So this is how I want to play. So probably I think we should look at our responsibility in consistent with what we are expected of, based on the responsibilities that is vested upon us. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Honourable members, I have heard the views and especially almost all the members.